Welcome to SVG-TV's news for Wednesday, March 9th, 2022. I'm Troska Campbell with the details. A new initiative which seeks to reduce the island's staggering food import bill by 25% by 2025 will be launched later this month. Speaking on Star Radio on Monday, Minister of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries Saboto Caesar said the initiative will see hundreds of farmers across SVG introduced to new commodities which will expand their level of production. Minister Caesar said the initiative will be a game changer for food production, especially at a time when food prices are expected to increase significantly.
25 by 25 to reduce the food import bill by 25% by the year 2025 doesn't take away from our quest that we also spoke about in our last program to expand the industry around our exports, because sometimes the way how some persons see policies unfolding, they tend to fall in love with the last policy that is being announced. But it's a platform of 7 programs. I want persons to pay careful attention to that. It is a platform of 7 programs, not because we are focusing on reducing the food import bill by 25% by 2025. It means that we are not going to pay attention to the modern medicinal wellness industry.
Over the last 6 months, Minister Caesar said that his ministry has conducted a feasibility study with a group of 10 farmers who are a part of the Vision 25 by 25 initiative. Minister Caesar encouraged farmers who are involved in modern farming to continue doing so, and if they have other lands, they can also participate in the Vision 25 by 25 initiative.
Create an industry locally for $50 million annually. Monies which were sent hitherto out of the country, sent to the United States of America, sent to Canada, sent to Britain to purchase food. Because we have the competencies in country, in the Ministry of Agriculture, and our farmers are competent, and we are going to work with financial institutions to make the capital available for this expansion. What we don't want to see happening is a farmer who is an excellent dashing farmer. He has 5 acres under production, and he basically reduces the 5 acres to 3 because he wants to participate in Vision 25 by 25. No, that's not what we want. We want you to maintain your 5 acres and probably take it up to 6 or 7 because we are expanding for exports, and to find additional land to participate in Vision 25 by 25.
In 2021, SVG's food import bill stood at 200 million EC dollars. Data has shown that during the COVID-19 pandemic and the volcanic eruption of Lucifer, businesses owned by females were more vulnerable and disproportionately affected. This is according to Minister of Finance Camila Gonçalves, who was at the time addressing the awards ceremony for the Women Empowerment Project Business Plan competition at the Embassy of the Republic of China on Taiwan. Minister Gonçalves noted that while everyone was affected by these recent phenomena, women were more affected.
Led businesses were in many ways more vulnerable, and that the challenges, especially to own account businesses run by a single individual, the challenges of COVID, the challenges of the volcano, made it more difficult for women to keep their businesses going, especially the smallest of the small businesses and micro enterprises. And women who, because of societal expectations, are expected to bear a disproportionate amount of the burden related to child care and other household activities, suddenly found themselves trying to do business in their homes, but having children home because they were sent home from COVID.
Minister Gonzalez noted that during these times of challenges, it was very difficult getting assistance from financial institutions. Speaking about the Women Empowerment Project in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the grants to assist female entrepreneurs with their businesses, Minister Gonzalez said that over the years they have learned that when women receive grants, they do a better job of applying it to the growth of their business.
Or having the dynamics of the household change. We found that banks, not necessarily only in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but across the region, were less likely, for whatever reason, to provide resources to women-led businesses during the times that we're discussing here. Conversely, so women are more affected. Everyone's affected, but women were more affected during the period. Conversely, we learned that when women receive grants, they do a better job of applying those grants to the growth of their business than do men. So they're more affected, but when they receive money, they do a better job with the money. That's not just St. Vincent and the Grenadines data, that's Latin America and the Caribbean data, and even beyond. That when women receive grant money, they are more sober.
The finance minister said that the government of SVG is putting in place a series of programs to foster a spirit of entrepreneurship in SVG.
A multifaceted program. It's not just to do with the reason the people we're celebrating today. We were absolutely thrilled that there was a component for small and medium enterprises and for entrepreneurs. For all the reasons I just mentioned, the way women have been affected and the way women historically apply their resources. And it dovetailed very nicely with a series of programs that the government is undertaking to try to foster a spirit of entrepreneurship across St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The Prime program is a program that is fairly well known in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and that is designed to put grant resources in the hands of young entrepreneurs. The Center for Enterprise Development is not only managing this program, but their programs are funded in part by the Qatari Development Association, by the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, and others.
It was all about women and their contribution to the economy during the Evening for a Woman event held on Tuesday, March 8, 2022 in capital Kingstown to mark International Women's Day. The event, hosted in collaboration with the Caribbean Women in Leadership SVG chapter and the Ministry of National Mobilization, featured an all-female cast of entrepreneurs and speakers. We have more in this report.
Female entrepreneurs were given the opportunity to showcase their products during an expo hosted under the theme An Evening of Women. The event was held to mark International Women's Day 2022, which was celebrated on March 8th. Entrepreneurs who spoke to SVG-TV News outlined the challenges and positive aspects of operating a business in SVG.
Being a young entrepreneur, it was hard because being young, persons would take you much seriously. They'll be like, oh, she's too young for that sometimes. That'll be the disadvantage of being a young entrepreneur. But I won't ever discourage anyone to not be an entrepreneur. It's an awesome task.
So the past 2 years, I've been trying to overcome by adding different things to my products, adding different services. It wasn't easy at all, but you know, we are hoping that this year coming up that things will make a turnaround.
During the event, Senator, lawyer, and former Culture Minister Rene Baptiste was recognized for her contribution to the work of uplifting women in SVG, as well as her role in politics. She was presented with a portrait painted by local artist Shanisa Mears.
Today it is so wonderful to see so many Vincentian women of prominence, of substance, people who have blazed trails, that they are featuring on our calendars. And so you ladies, blaze a new pathway. Stand up. Take the fight.
Baptiste urged women in the island not to shy away from politics or heading organizations, despite what opposition they may face. Reporting for SVG-TV News, Christina Smith.
Delivering the feature address at the event held yesterday at the parking lot of the Postal Corporation, Minister of National Mobilization and Gender Affairs Dr. Orlando Brewster said it is time for women to be recognized as key figures of the green economy. Minister Brewster said that for too long, women's contributions to the advancement of the agricultural sector has been downplayed.
We realize that their contribution is crucial to the country's development. Agriculture being a part of the green economy, where women have played an integral role in this sector in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This industry could never survive without the contribution of women, whether it is working in the sector, supporting their families, or being involved in the wider rural economy. Oftentimes, women's contribution to the economy can be undervalued, downplayed, or unseen. However, this government will never allow our women to be placed on the back burner.
The government's minister said the development of Women in Agriculture project has lent support to local women. He added that the grant project, which is a partnership between the governments of Taiwan and SVG, has helped women farmers who were affected by the eruptions of La Soufrière volcano to get back on their feet.
This project is in its second phase to support local and international women's groups in empowering women at the community level across the entire country. These groups would work assiduously in providing support to women and girls to ensure that they have access to the needed resources and opportunities to foster overall development.
Almost 20 years ago, Tekla Andrews was recruited by the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force. Today, the Peruvian Vale resident is one of 3 women to hold the rank of Assistant Superintendent of Police, ASP. In this report, ASP Andrews, who is a strong believer of gender equality, shares what it is like to climb the ranks of a male-dominated profession.
10 years in the police department, and then I got my first promotion as a corporal of police. After the corporal of police, it took me about 5 years to reach this rank.
Assistant Superintendent of Police, Tekla Andrews Thomas, who is now in charge of the Northwestern and Eastern Division, which is from Vermont to Richmond, Leeward on mainland St. Vincent. She has blazed the trail for women police officers, a profession that initially did not have the blessings of her parents, knowing that it is a male-dominated profession.
I spoke to my mom and I told her that this is what I want to do. We grew up very poor, and being the first child for my mother, I thought it was my duty to ensure that she's taken care of.
Coming from the small community of Peruvian Vale, ASP Andrews has worked in the magistrate court, various divisions, outstations, as well as in plainclothes and patrol.
Not easy as a female police officer being on the streets, because I believe the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines has this mentality that if you're a female, that you're of a lower standard than the males, and it is not so.
Andrews is one of 3 women that have the Assistant Superintendent of Police rank. PC-70 Keith Thompson was the first officer to take Andrews on her first duty 20 years ago.
And I'm delighted to see this. She has propelled herself to great places. I'm happy to be on any rank.
Many women police officers have since followed in her footsteps.
I am very proud of to say that we are educated women in the organization, and we have a mark to make. And we will leave this organization better than it was.
The lone female superintendent of police in the RSVGPF is Kamasia Blake Byam. Today being International Women's Day marks 12 years since she joined the RSVGPF.
My message to our women in the organization and to any organization that is male-dominated is that your gender does not define you, but your roles and responsibilities must be defined by your competency.
The male ACPs and ASPs are grateful for the contributions of the female police officers.
And continue to exert leadership among the general body of the organization.
Continue to have equal rights as men.
And hope that they continue to contribute to the best.
The women of Proverbs 31 continue to be hard working and virtuous women.
For SVG-TV News, Larissa Pogsley-Kidd.
The government plans to build more homes across SVG for persons whose homes were affected by natural disasters. On his weekly appearance on NBC Radio, Prime Minister Dr. Al Gonsalves said there are still quite a few persons who are still trying to get new homes or who are trying to get new homes or have their homes repaired.
To indicate to persons who are in people who have had their houses damaged or destroyed, or persons who have to be relocated. We have done thus far about 300, just over 300 houses, repairs, and we have built houses in that particular frame too.
PM Gonsalves also spoke about the homes being constructed in Sandy Bay and in Orange Hill in the North Windward, noting that they will be quickly moving along with the work.
The next few months, that number, including more houses from scratch. We are doing at the moment additionally 27 houses. We are working with the Musty company. Hopefully by the end of this week we'll have the agreement formalized, or at least the formal agreement sent to them, because we have to do 41 with them. We are doing that at Orange Hill and also at hopefully at Sandy Bay. And I just want to indicate to all the persons that we are proceeding full pace with these houses and the extent of the repairs.
The Prime Minister also noted that there are still a few persons in shelters who were not greatly affected by the volcanic eruption. However, the authorities are trying to see how best they can be assisted.
I also, we have some persons still in shelters, small number, and we have some persons who we are paying rent for still. Again, small numbers, relatively speaking. But there are one or two persons who are in shelters who should not be in shelters because they had not been affected by the soufre or any natural disaster, but they took advantage to put themselves in shelters. And I made the point clear to the Permanent Secretary and the Ministry of Social Development. Those persons should be put in rented accommodation under the normal social development, Ministry of Social Development program now. Like if somebody has a fire or somebody is homeless for whatever reason, we try to provide some support, but it usually involves getting you some rental for about 6 months, and during that period to see what arrangements we can make.
And Prime Minister Gonsalves will lead a team to a site visit of the Richmond Quarry on Friday, March 11th, 2022.
Tomorrow, I go to, not tomorrow, Friday, I go to with a team down to Richmond, a media team, and a few other ministers to see the progress, what is going on concerning the quarry.
The government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines stands to make approximately $900,000 annually from the quarry project, which is being undertaken by the St. Lucian company Renew Group. The National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, would be conducting a tsunami evacuation exercise in capital Kingstown tomorrow morning. The exercise is expected to last approximately 2 hours and is said to play a major role in preparing various business houses and locals on their overall readiness in the event of a tsunami. Deputy Director for NEMO, Kenson Stoddard, told SVG-TV News that the annual Carib Wave exercise would also test the operating processes at NEMO and how the message would be received and handled across SVG.
Operating procedures at NEMO, what is in place there, the messaging, how do we receive the message, the different agencies participating in the exercise, how they receive the message, how did they receive the message, were there any glitches in the system, and so forth. And so that exercise offers the opportunity to really test what we have in place. So the exercise would be on just about 9-10 o'clock tomorrow as well, and we have a number of institutions or organizations participating, Bank of SVG, NIS, Port, the Ministry of National Security.
Stoddard urged the public not to panic by the activity, which will be conducted on the streets of Kingston tomorrow morning, reiterating it is just a drill.
This is an exercise. So you would see persons walking swiftly towards what we call assembly points, and you would probably see one or two persons standing up with signs, giving persons direction where the assembly points are, where the safe zones are. Of course, in a tsunami evacuation, you will have to go uphill. So those areas, Town Hill, going up Mackey's Hill and so on, we expect a bit of activity there. But it's a drill. We don't want the public to be alarmed in any way. And so we're just trying to practice what systems we have.